What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about the meme that Dr. Let's put that in quotation marks, Dr. Umar Johnson posted on his social media page. And this isn't the first time that he's posted something like this. As you know or may not know, he posted something like this a while ago as well. It was something along the lines of maybe educated lames being, or rather not even that, but just like black dudes being curved by black women, and then, oh, you see him walking with like a white girl like a couple of days later, and then I sell out, right? And pretty much just blaming that on black women, right? So of course this time we got something a little different, Umar Johnson, he's pretty much blaming black men swirling, or the snow bunny crisis, or whatever the fuck we calling that shit, on black women, and black mothers in particular. Of course, we know that black mothers are responsible for all the ills of society. They're responsible for poverty, responsible for mass incarceration, and responsible for, police brutality. They raise these race soldiers up, yes they do, to become racist race soldiers. Responsible for, the educational system failing black people and the black youth. They're responsible for all these ills of society, okay? Black single mothers will cause World War III. Mark my word. But seriously though, the black single mothers are being blamed again. And I don't think single mothers were specified, but nevertheless, black moms are being blamed for the snow bunny crisis. And that's what they're calling it. And it's like, well, that's interesting. Because, well, I'll get into that a little bit later. But really, I think with these memes that he posted, or that he has been posting, I think Umar is just letting you know, low-key, what's about to happen, what you about to see coming up soon. And it ain't that school that plenty of black women especially donated to have built. He just gonna blame the school not being built on black single mamas, black women wearing too much weave and makeup and being obese and having diabetes. And also he may blame it on, since recently, these riots and things, like, oh, my school got destroyed in the riots. You know you gonna blame. You know he gonna do that. Oh yeah, the riots destroyed his school. That's gonna be the next thing. So it's never gonna be built. But really, he's probably gonna take that money and be tricking it off with Rebecca, and Karen, Amy, what have you. So soon, coming to social media near you, Dr. Umar Johnson going to be stepping out on the scene with, Becky or Karen. Even though Keisha, Aisha, and Loquisha, and Takisha, supported him way more, donated to have the school built, even probably was defending him when the school wasn't being built, right? But again, this is speculation of what I think is to come, some conjecture, all right? But as well, I do think that this meme that he posted, as well as the previous one, is, disrespectful, very disrespectful to black women who are supporting black men, whether they swirl or not, right? Because I don't think black men are as quick to support black women, whether they swirl or not. If they swirl, it's automatically a case closed. If they don't swirl, then they may, it may happen. It may happen. But, that black woman got to fill out a lot of paperwork. She got to submit her application. She got to go through an interview process. They got to do a thorough background check as well and make sure that she ain't been up to no good, that she ain't been a wicked black woman, that she ain't been a bad wench, making niggas look like simps. You gotta have a background check. So it's not just, oh, what about the greater good? We gotta do this for the greater good. This could be your mother. This could be your sister. This could be your daughter. This could be your waitress. Nah. Right. No. Right. Like, this could be your child's teacher. Nah. None of that. Right. None of that game is being run. All right. But yeah, this is very disrespectful to, the black women who are supporting. It's like, why are you, throwing shots at black women? And, more specifically, I do think in general, it's disrespectful to black women, but especially, black moms who are single, whether they are, single, never married, single via divorce, single via being a widow. That is a thing too, and that never really comes up in these conversations. Sometimes, especially with all this police brutality going around, I'm pretty sure that there are some single mothers who have become single mothers, via widowhood, if that's a word. But yeah, very disrespectful and not necessary either. It's like, why have this conversation now, And if we were to have a conversation about swirling, I think considering Dr. Umar's, position, wouldn't it make a bit more sense to be like, well, let's have this conversation being centered around, black men swirling and whether or not they are deserving of community support, since some people could view swirling as a betrayal, an act of cooning, etc. And also, like, wasn't, Umarsha Johnson initially against interracial dating? Especially black men interracially dating. What happened with that? Because he went on like a national television show, I think. He went on like Roland Martin's show and was debating about that. And really, I don't even think that should have been a debate like amongst black people. I don't think that we should be advocating or trying to defend like black folks who swirl but are like pro-black, quote unquote. And of course, at this point, I'm of the idea that, that's not really being pro-black. I think that's being more like a pro-black multiculturalist. And I've explained that in a few videos, but basically it's just, I feel that that is an act of multiculturalism or perhaps integration. I'd say, whatever. I use the word or the term multiculturalism. Integrations probably could be considered a term to use, although I think we have integrated more or less by now. But whatever the term you use, though, I think that's just, pro-black multiculturalism. And it's just multiculturalism with some pro-black seasoning. But it's not pro-black itself. Like, kind of like if you have some chips and you put some barbecue seasoning on the chips. They're barbecue chips, but they're not barbecue. It's not actually like a barbecue meal, And that's sort of like what's happening here. That's sort of like this situation. But yeah, Dr. Umar, he was against interracial dating at one point or another. So, and what changed? Because he caught some flack from that. But maybe that's part of the reason, right? Um, and as well, I guess he saw that, that was a dead end road with little to no payoff. All right. And of course, the backlash from a segment of black men too, whether they swirling or not, the backlash from that, you know. And I think for him, maybe he may have been on some goodwill shit, or he may have just been on, maybe perhaps trying to low key pander to black women. Perhaps. I'll give, Umarsha the benefit of the doubt in that situation and just say, he may have been on some goodwill shit with that. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt with that. But I'm watching, all right. And as well, them donations from black men probably went down, 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 down. All right. And Dr. Umarsha, quote unquote Dr. Umarsha, like he need them donations. He gotta have some money to spend on his Rebecca, backstage that he's about to showcase pretty soon. And, as well, just in general, I've been seeing like a lot of these celebrity black men coming out and speaking about, racism and police brutality, but being coupled with non-black spouses or girlfriends or what have you. And I just, I find it to be a bit strange, a little odd, because I feel like it's sort of sending a mixed message in a way. But of course, the media would love to push a mixed message like that, especially that may confuse black people and make black people feel like, oh, everything's all good. Pretty much just help perpetuate the illusion of inclusion, right? And again, these are, black men who have platforms and who have the mic. And again, not all, but it's a segment, right? And some people maybe come through and be like, well, what about black women? What about black women laid up being bed wenches with Brad and Billy and Ted? And that isn't, something to discuss as well. But the thing is with that is that I think when it comes to leadership and wanting, men to be seen as leaders, leaders have to set the tone. And setting the tone is like a part of setting the tone is, how you conduct yourself and what you engage in, right? And as well, I do see a bit more of the men doing this with non-black spouses versus the women doing this with non-black spouses as well. But, I'm pretty sure that's going to come up. But the thing is, as I said, it's important for the spokesperson to have a good look as well. And I'm pretty sure there are some white supremacists who are with non-white spouses. I'm sure of that. But the thing is, they don't have the mic nearly as much as the ones who are, white as right and, white bread all the way. Stale white bread all the way. It's something to think about, But again, we all have choices. I ain't trying to police anybody's choices, but I'm just saying, And as well, I think that this meme that Dr. Umar posted, Dr. Umarsha, quote unquote, I think that it may also be a way of him, helping his swirling black male fan base, not feel like coons or sellouts and feel welcomed in, the pro-black sector and the pro-black conversation. And, sometimes I do see like these dudes who on the internet more so, who are like in interracial relationships and have animosity toward black women, yet on the same token, you know, at the same time, wanting black women and even like shaming and guilting black women into supporting black men who have gotten caught up in some sort of, police brutality type situation and were swirlers, you know. And it's like, oh, that shouldn't matter, right? While these people, like these dudes, low key and high key, have animosity toward black women just in general, right? But they want the support though, right? They want the support, your finances, etc. They want that still, right? They even want you to want them, right? Still, not that they want you, but they want you to want them. They want you to support them. They want you to finance them too, right? But they don't fuck with you, you know. So it's like you have to be careful about what you support and who you support. All right. And also, back to the meme. When does black men's responsibility and self-accountability come into play? At any point in this conversation, as well as just in general, when it comes to, issues within the black community, issues among black men, issues among the black male youth, etc. It's like, what is the black man's responsibility? Because I don't really seem to be hearing that conversation, about what black men are responsible for. It's more so what black women are responsible for. And it seems to be an awful lot. And it seems to be reflective of, what is put on single moms, that, the burden that they have to bear as single mothers. And it's just like, well, what about fathers? What about the black fathers? Don't black fathers matter too? And as well, why do these nignogs always try to implicate black women in their degeneracy, or the reason for their degeneracy? Always. It's always the black woman's fault. See, it's that black woman's fault. She was wearing too much weave and makeup. That's why she couldn't raise these young boys to be men, because she was too busy putting in weave and makeup in her hair and face and stuff. See, the black woman, she a wicked woman. The black woman ain't no good. The black woman sold out the black man for a welfare check and an EBT card. Can't trust that wicked black woman no more. That black woman ain't no good. That black woman just no good. That wicked black woman, that wicked black woman, that wicked black woman no good. That's why she living in the hood, cause she just no good. That wicked black woman, that wicked black woman, that wicked black woman no good. So, yeah, that's it. But back to business. All right. And again, I think we're personally, I think a lot of black women may feel like this, uprising, if we want to call it that, is being heading toward pro-blackness and pro-blackville, pro-blackistan, pro-black land. But personally, I think it seemed like we're headed toward multicultural town, multiculturalville, multicultural land. And I think that you need to be aware of that, because your black women are going to be operating under a pro-black mindset while in a multicultural space, and that's not going to work. And I've seen that happen and play out before, where black women are very much being pro-black, while they're on a pro-black agenda, while black men are on like a multicultural agenda and mindset, which helps when it comes to, say, assimilation and getting further in the system that we're in. And some black women may come through and be like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be no swirler. I don't want to be no multiculturalist. I don't want to be working around other groups of people. And that is a choice, and you have that right to have that choice. But I just think that first be aware of the system that you're in as well. Just be mindful of what the consequences of that could be. Right. And as well, in regards to the meme, the illustration, are those people in high school or college? I'm getting high school vibes based on what I'm seeing there, And as well, again, Dr. Umar said that, black mothers are to blame for the snow bunny crisis, right? Well, are the white mothers to blame for these racist killer white cops? These racist white killer cops out here? I mean, since so much responsibility is put on the mother, right? What are these white women, how are they raising their children, especially their sons? Look at what's happening and what's turning out there. Are the white women to blame, or perhaps the white fathers? Because they're getting this from somewhere, or perhaps the system that they're in. But the fathers are involved in their life as well, and if we're blaming the white fathers, then in that case, fathers do play a role in what kids, especially boys, grow up to be. And if black fathers are absent, then what does that lead black boys with? And as well, let's be real, like, white men have been telling black men to stay away from white women for centuries, whether it's via lynchings, shootings, bombings, etc. And as well, white women also, filing false rape charges, saying a black man did something that he didn't do. If that doesn't deter black men from swirling, then what else will? Then I'm pretty sure their mothers telling them to not swirl is probably not going to be effective, if that isn't effective, right? And again, what are the black father's responsibility, and what are black men's responsibility to the black community in general, right? And it's really just kind of like some of these dudes want to be in charge of everything but responsible for nothing. Like, if you in charge of shit, you gotta be responsible for shit. It's like if you have a supervisor position at your job or a managerial position, it's like you in charge, but you also gotta be responsible and be accountable for what you are in charge of, right? And also, as well, I do think that some of these dudes low-key do get a kick and even a sexual thrill out of black women complaining about them swirling. So that's why some of this stuff, I'd be like, don't even pay it too much mind. In this particular case and situation, just because, Umar is so popular, that it could be a bit more difficult, and I can understand that, and you feel like you got to address it, like, what I'm doing right now. So sometimes it's like, okay, you got to speak on it. And then sometimes it's like, whatever. You got to let that, just don't even acknowledge something like that, right? Right. And also, the meme, I think it kind of like low-key perpetuates negative stereotypes about black men, which, you know, I don't know if folks are even concerned about that anymore. But, it does kind of perpetuate kind of like the, oh, black men are like lusting after white women. And, the system of white supremacy does set itself up to have black men lusting after white women, and to ignore their own women, right? Uh, Nevertheless, of course, we all have agency and choices and whatnot, but I'm just saying. So I do think that this kind of like perpetuates like, you know, negative stereotypes about black men that can be, dangerous, you know. And also, like, have you seen that photo? Like, look at that photo. Like, look at the dude in the photo with the sex face grin on his face, looking under Karen or Rebecca's skirt. You know, all that white woman has to do is just scream rape, or file a police report, or say that he was sexually harassing her and stuff like that. And, you know, then things will just, that black man will be in trouble, right? And then that same black man will run to the black community for protection and support. And, black women will probably support for the greater good because that could have been my son. That could have been my brother. That could have been my daddy. Yeah. That could have been my baby daddy. That could have been my Uber driver. I gotta support sister. We got to support. We can't let them do our brothers like this. Our black men, our black kings like this. Leave my black king alone. Let my black king come home. He ain't do nothing wrong. Leave my black king alone. Yes, I am your mammy, your big fat black mammy. Pick me, oh pick me, please black king pick me. You see me here, won't you please just pick me? Look at what I do for you. Look at how hard and the pain I go for you. Please, black king, just pick me, pick me. I am your big fat black mammy. I am your pygmy. But, yeah. And of course, black women getting played in the process as usual. And as well, I guess that's pretty much all I got to say. Trey Songz released a new song recently about how many more times. Little Baby also released a video in a song called The Bigger Picture. Both of these black men are talking about, the current situation at hand, police brutality and all that stuff. And, they're, I think that they making sure that their music is just a certain way that is not a turn off to white folk, that it's just, enough to get a message across, but not really truly like rock the boat, shake the table, And, that's another image that you see of black men in the media, like the singing black man, singing for peace or rapping for peace and whatnot. It's very much, they like these, images of black men kind of like being pushed out as like, oh, the peacekeeping black man. Oh, the black man who, is longing for white acceptance, right? As well, like there's other like actually did a whole video about this recently, but yeah, just talking about the images that you see of black men in the media as of late, and it's very interesting. Ultimately, it just all those images come together just to form the non-threatening black man. All right, and ultimately, I think that's something to be aware of too. And then, black women have to be aware of their public image as well, because their public image is being shown as being basically like loud, angry, and bitter, and perhaps violent, thus kind of setting up black women to be seen as threats and to be treated as, threats and neutralized via violence, you know? And, I've heard about, like, some black women being, like, there was one woman, Toyin, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Like, she was very much pro-black and very much supportive of black men, but she was, her life was taken by a black man for some reason or another. I'm not sure why. And, it's a lot to, think about and to take in. A lot is happening. And as well, honestly, I do think that to an extent, some of these police brutality situations, low key, is like helping to take out the trash that's in the black community. That's just what I would say amongst, a certain group of people. I would not put that out like in public on the national platform, right? But, even with something like, say, R. Kelly, like, if white folk didn't, do that documentary, what would be happening with R. Kelly right now? Probably not much, because the black community would just be like, well, those fast girls knew what they were up to. Those fast ass girls, right? And that police, one of the police officers involved in the George Floyd murder, identifies as African American, and one was Asian, and then two were white. So I think that's very interesting, right? And the guy who identifies as black or African American, I think some woman had accosted him in a grocery store or something, and pretty much was just was giving him a hard time about, I guess, being out on bail, right? And I wonder what would happen when or if Derek Chauvin gets out on bail. How that's going to work. But I don't want to make this video too long. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now. Peace out.